Well,
Are
you're
you
happy to
just
see
glad
me.
to see me?
That's
The best-
happy to see.
The best part about if we change the pops to pickles is this still works.
Yes.
I think it works better. It sounds like a crisp classic.
Classic.
Hey, internets, it's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is Welcome to Paradise Academy. This is episode 10, Teenage Wildlife. This is, of course, our second season, Paradise Academy. If you are new or you've stumbled into this and you're wondering what the hell's going on, you can catch all of our VODs over on youtube.com/Mini Terrain Domain. We've got the entire first season, and each week I load up the second season. And I did fix this week. For some reason, I loaded Sky Metal twice. Thank you for catching that. Carrie, you made me aware of it, but somebody else in chat or had commented and said, this is not Kids on Bikes.
Well, I was getting ready to watch it, and then I saw the Dice on Ice advert, and I was like, "Uh-oh,
Yep.
this is not what it is supposed to be."
So, speaking of domain pickles or domain pops or whatever we got going up there above Tamiko and M, those are a way that you, the audience, can have an impact on the game simply by subscribing, resubscribing, gifting subs, cheering 500 bits, or tipping $5. They earn the player's domain pops. Domain pops in this game work like adversity tokens. So the players can use domain pops to add to dice rolls in an attempt to pass a roll or get a higher roll than somebody else. Or, as we saw in last week's episode twice, they can spend 5 of them to make themselves or anyone else roll on the D100 mystery grab bag table of wonderful things. We've had a few of those rolls, and some interesting things have occurred. I owe you 2 of these domain pops, so we are at 46 now. Everybody loves that.
My favorite.
Carrie smiles.
Nobody loves it more than
Carrie
me.
smiles big every time.
It makes me so happy.
Speaking of Sky Metal, next Monday, you can tune in for Scribes and Scrolls, which is our weekly Pathfinder 2E game. We are in our final arc. We had a pretty epic session. The game is now, and through the finale, is me, Carrie, and Gary. And it turned out very interesting. And I'll explain to you later what I did to your character. I almost called you Marta. She's not dead.
Marta ain't dead.
Yeah.
Exactly.
She's not exactly.
I feel like death would be the better option the way you're talking.
Maybe.
Yeah, it would. Maybe.
You have to tune in if you want to find out what happened to Marta. But on Tuesdays, every other Tuesday, and it will be this coming Tuesday, we have Sky Metal Iron Gods, which is our D&D 5e campaign. We're about, I believe this will be episode 13. In that one, you can find myself as a player, along with M, Karen, and Sarah, and our amazing Game Master Vi, who is taking this. Ironically, it's an adventure adapted from Pathfinder into D&D. But I'll tell you, Vi is one of those people that I think is like an expert at adapting pretty much anything into any game system, and just makes it work. So definitely tune in to check that out, because Vi is also merciless when it comes to pitting us against anything.
How long was it before you guys TPK'd in that campaign?
Like 3 episodes,
6 sessions
I think.
or some shit?
2 or 3
yeah.
sessions in, we TPK'd and had to start all over with a new party. So, and we've had another death since then. Em lost Danik a couple sessions ago. But has brought in absolutely the most precious little rat folk, Varys. Everybody agrees that we will kill or die to protect Varys. So yeah, tune in on Tuesdays to check that out. Of course, every Thursday we are here for this game. And I'm expecting tomorrow night. Obviously, as you can see, Chad and Ted are not with us tonight for various reasons. We're supposed to be playing over on Nerdarchy tomorrow, but I think that'll depend on. We'll call it tentative. So you can tune into Nerdarchy on YouTube to catch me and Ted playing alongside each other in the Old Guard. That's it for that stuff. Quick content warning. This game features us portraying teens and kids and some adults in a fictional 1985 sort of middle school, high school hybrid in a town where just really weird stuff is happening. We do touch on topics such as divorce, bullying. We get into some graphic depictions of violence. One, be aware that those kind of things are happening, and if that's not your bag, feel free to head on over to another stream. But also know that we, the players, are keeping one another safe at the game table. We understand everybody's lines and veils. We've had session 0 for each season to make sure we understand where everybody is on lines and veils, and we have safety tools in place. We use a traffic light system so that again, so we can have fun and keep everybody safe at the table. We encourage you to have your own safety tools and session zeros because they are super important. Finally, just a quick reminder, as we say before every session, we like to remind you that you matter. Your presence on this earth makes a difference. Whether you believe it or not, it is true. There are any number of reasons why you might want to talk to somebody. Maybe you're struggling. Maybe you're in a good place. Maybe you just want somebody that's not connected to any other part of your life that you can talk to about things. But you don't know where, maybe you don't know where to get started. We try to make it as simple as possible for you by simply typing !help in the chat, as Jeremy has just done. That will bring up a couple of URLs. Findahelpline.com, or you can check out the growing list of resources at takethis.org. We encourage you to check out those sites, bookmark them, save them for yourself, save them for a friend, and remember, you matter. With that, I would like to welcome you all to Paradise, Michigan. And Paradise Academy, I should say. This is season 2 after all. Last week, I kind of turned you all loose to go where you wanted to and pursue your individual goals within the school. And that was met with various levels of success, failure, whatever you want to call it. Laz is convinced that everybody is living in a simulation and that you are all in back to tanks somewhere. Coop, we'll get to. Coop had some unfortunate Tamiko had some unfortunate technical difficulties. So we will of course be starting with Coop tonight. Oak found out another piece of the of his time anomaly, learning that Heinz, his current guardian, and who you all know as the lighthouse keeper, found out that Heinz is actually him from the future. But Heinz also made it so that Oak does not remember this conversation. So he kind of told him the truth, but then said, you don't need to know this now. But did give him a nifty little pocket watch that lets him stop time for up to a minute. Rosie decided in the middle of... were you in American Lit?
Yes.
Yeah, in the middle of American Lit was the perfect time to put on a Sony Walkman and listen to a mysterious tape that she found on the floor. And heard a series of words in a couple of different languages, along with several minutes of static that was very quiet, and hearing whispered voices. Of course, Mrs. Whitman took your Walkman until the end of the day. But afterwards, you still heard the sounds of the whispering and the counting. And then there's Jessica. Jessica had a major revelation. This was more of a revelation to the audience. Having a confrontation with one of her, I think nemesis is a fair word. Meredith Haas, who tried to dot Jessica's eye and failed. And in the process of that little struggle, Jessica, or should we now say Anne, caught sight of her reflection in a puddle, and Jessica made her first real attempt to wrestle control back, but was suppressed by Anne. And we, the audience, now know that it's been Anne the whole time, since we've been in Paradise Academy. So things are very interesting in this iteration. There's a lot of things that some people, I think at this point, the audience knows more than your characters actually know. Because there's memory wiping happening, and people keeping secrets and all that good stuff. So with that, let's get into this and figure out what everybody's up to following what happened previously. And we're going to start with Coop. Same question as last week that I gave everybody else, which is, where would Coop go? What would Coop do during this school day? You can go pretty much anywhere in the school day that you want. Yeah, what are you doing?
Well, Jake, I've decided that Coop's going to start out in second period biology with Rosie.
Oh boy.
So, I'm trying to find your guys' schedules. Okay, so if you're in second period biology with Rosie, that means
this is before the Walkman incident.
This is before the Walkman incident.
Also before the talk with Laz at lunch.
Mm-hmm.
It's also before the before the power outage.
Yes.
Yes, the power outage
Just slightly.
did happen in second period, I believe.
Yes, it did.
Okay. All right, so
This feels like metagaming, but it's not.
no,
It's not.
Because we're
Nope.
just loosey-goosey here at
it's
Paradise,
very
Michigan.
important for us to all understand where we are in the scene, so we can set this up. And
I think it's right at the beginning of class.
Okay.
And what is it? Rosie's already sitting at the table. Coop comes huffing and puffing in and like drops his backpack and his binder down onto the table and hops up on the chair next to Rosie and says, "Oh my God, Rosie, did you hear?"
I mean, it depends. I've heard a lot of things today.
Oh, okay. I just heard.
Rosie
just heard
eyes
how-
his bag and just says, "You know, you don't have to bring all your books to every class with you, right?"
Well, I know, but there's more than just books in there. I just heard in the hallway.
Yeah.
That Billy has a crush on a teacher.
Who? Oh my God.
The what is it? The blonde lady from Metal Shop.
Mrs. Nielsen?
He's talking about running away with her. We need to talk him out of it.
Hey, if that's what he wants. I don't want to talk him out of it if it'll make him happy.
But he's way too young to run off and settle down with
Yeah.
a teacher.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. You're right. Immediately after this class, we will have to talk him out of that.
Oh, speaking of which.
What's
And-
that?
And Coop lowers his voice and goes, "You and Laz."
Oop, I don't even know. Shh. I don't, literally nobody else knows about that except the core squad, you know what I mean? And to be honest, I don't even know if there is a me and Laz, so just keep it under your hat, huh?
I don't know. He seems pretty sweet on you.
I don't know about that. And Rosie is getting rosy, for lack of a better term, and she would just kind of be like, I don't know. I mean, I think he got I don't know. He seemed like he was just heat of the moment, and for all I know, it could have been like just a one and done, and I don't know.
I mean, he was going out of his mind when he got to the pizza place. He like really lost his shit because he thought that you were dying.
He was like real worried.
So worried.
Oh. Huh. And Rosie just kind of like seems to take that in and doesn't really like kind of
he was gonna legit ride a skateboard all the way to the hospital.
And again, Rosie's just kind of taking this all in, and it's just like, well, maybe it wasn't a one and done then. Thanks for telling me, Coop.
I don't know. You'd have to ask him, I guess.
Yeah, I guess I would. I will. Maybe I'll see him at maybe I'll see him later today somewhere. Maybe lunch or something.
Oh, hang on. I think we have an Amber Alert.
Are you kidding? I was just gonna say, is that? I thought that was Jake, like doing like the bell or some shit. Like, I was like, wow,
worst
Jake's got sound
bell
effects.
ever.
What?
That sounds like the iPhone danger alert.
So I'll pose this question to everybody, but Carrie first, since you're the one most frequently in a school. What does your bell sound like between classes?
Well, funny you should ask. It just changed last year, and it's like a bell sound, like the most stereotypical school bell
what did it
sound
used to
you
be
can
if
hear.
it just changed?
It was just like a tone. It was like a bing,
Oh.
and that was how we like went from class to class. And when it's changed to a bell, the kids were all like, "I hate that. That's the worst," and they hated that. They did not like it.
When I was
Not
in
a
high
fan.
school, it was boop, 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 boop. Except the booping was like a electronic sound.
Oh
Ours
yeah,
was
yeah.
literally clanging because it was literally the metal clanging
clang,
bell.
clang. Wow.
Hmm
That's what we
Legit.
had in elementary school. I was just curious.
Incredible. Yeah, so no, it's a school bell sound, and actually on the outside of the building, if you happen to find yourself outside the building, it's like it's not just like a recorded sound, it's like a real school bell. It's kind of cool. But... Anywho, so yeah, Rosie is just kind of like laughing with Coop and embarrassed and trying to focus on anything other than biology, frankly.
I would like Coop and Rosie to just make me a brains check. This is not a pass fail. This is
I never get to roll this.
This is a just to see if you see something.
I got a 6.
I also got a 6.
During the beginning of class, once the bell rings and class is about to start, when Mr. McHenry he always once that final bell rings, he walks over and he closes the door. And then he goes to his desk and grabs his attendance log, and he starts calling off names, just in the interest of the first week of school, getting to know who people are. You guys didn't really notice this yesterday. I think it becomes more apparent because it's happening on the second day, but he gets to the C's and he calls out Ethan Cambridge. And everybody kind of looks over to where Ethan Cambridge was assigned to sit. And for the second day in a row, Ethan Cambridge has not shown up. And with that, you both rolling a 6. you would have seen by now for almost 2 months. Yeah, almost 2 months. Ethan Cambridge has been missing. He's one of the students that there's posters
One of the
around
poster
town.
kids.
Yep.
Oh, wow. And I imagine there's kind of like an uncomfortable shift, like every time we hear his name, and like it's, I can't believe Mr. McHenry keeps reading it off. Like it's a little glaring and insensitive and tone deaf, but I kind of like look over at Coop and sort of shrug.
The class itself progresses pretty normally. I think now that it's the second day, the first day Mr. McHenry kind of went over all the kinds of stuff that you would be doing. Talked about the different types of creatures you would be dissecting during this school year.
Cool.
Right now, he is just beginning to do some basic now I've totally forgot what it's called, but where you start going over all of the
Parts of the
species,
cells?
genus, species, all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, phylogeny,
Thank you.
of course.
So he's just, it's a pretty standard, and unless you're into it, kind of boring lecture style class. Before I move on, I will allow either of you, if there is anything you would do you pay attention? Are you disruptive? Do you continue talking amongst yourselves?
Rosie is not trying to be disruptive, but she would lean to Coop and she would be like, "So where the hell is the Cambridge kid, do you think?"
I don't know. But, I mean, this place has always been weird.
I mean, yeah, I guess.
You also know that only gone for Ethan's been gone for only a month. Emily Strong has been missing for 2 months. And for 2 days, Abby, was it Abby Hoffman? That's not right. That's definitely not right. Abby Handler. New posters have gone up just today. Probably on your way to school, you may have noticed that there was new posters up. I think you would have even noticed that Abby's dad and older brother were looking sleep deprived, disheveled, walking through town with staplers, putting up these flyers. Abby has been missing since yesterday.
Coop's just nodding at Rosie, because this place is weird, and he goes,
You know what it reminds me of?
What's that?
Derry, Maine.
What are you talking about? Derry,
The
Maine.
Stephen King book, It, where all the kids disappeared.
Oh, Coop, this may shock you. I'm not a big reader.
Oh. But everybody reads Stephen King.
Well, yeah, I've read the short ones. It is like this. Think I want to dive into that shit?
Oh, I don't know. I have to do a little bit at a time. It's scary.
And Rosie kind of like chuckles but tries to keep it quiet.
Roll me a D100, Coop.
61.
I rolled a 52. Glancing, as you're saying this, everybody reads Stephen King. Like one table over from you is Faith Raymond. She is a very quiet girl. I think she's 13. And she is surreptitiously reading Silver Bullet,
Ooh.
which is a Stephen King book about werewolves.
That's awesome. That's great.
Nice.
Coop, I need you to make me a grit check.
Oh dear.
This has a DC assigned to it, so
Well, I'm rolling a d6, so don't hold your breath.
You can do it. Explode, explode.
And 5. Not bad. No explosion.
This you failed by 4 minor consequences, short-term consequences. This is how this plays out, though. You are going to have a mental
Consequence.
My brain is not working.
A mental
Why-
punishment.
Thank you for bringing that up, Jake. But
Ironically, that it was mental, and I'm the one who's apparently having a mental consequence.
Mental punishment. You got it.
So you will have a mental consequence for I'll say for the remainder of this session.
okay. But fortunately, Coop is easygoing, so his consequence is only a 1 instead of a 2.
Yep, we talked about that. So instead of a -2, you get a -1 to any.
But you said that was
future-
mental?
Yes, it's a mental consequence in effect until the end of this session. And this is the reason why. At some point, as Mr. McHenry is droning on, going through all of these variations of, for some reason he's landed on insects, and he's breaking all of that down. His voice begins to sort of turn into this almost a wall of sound, almost muffled to where it would almost be like watching Charlie Brown.
Coop's nodding off, huh?
Oh god.
Maybe.
Oh no.
But in this moment, you hear in your mind, Kenny Cooper. You know this voice.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
You
No,
know
no,
this
no, no.
voice.
You've heard this voice recently, but the last time you saw this person face to face, they tried to rip your skeleton out of your body.
No, no, no,
This
no,
is
no,
Persephone.
no,
Persephone!
no. Oh.
And Coop's gonna go, nope, and try to shut her out.
Oh, I'm afraid your friend Lazarus isn't here to jam a fireplace poker into my brain.
Jesus Christ.
And Coop thinks back. He's not going to be talking out loud in class. He's going to project back.
Oh, you remember that?
It's not something
He said
you
he's
easily
not
forget.
talking out loud. Sorry.
Yeah, he
Okay,
said he's
good.
not talking out loud.
Just
Actually,
making sure.
you know what?
Making-
I'm going to make
No
you roll a
what?
grit check on that because you did
No
have a
what?
mental consequence. We're going to see if you
Yeah.
speak out loud.
All right, all right. Yeah, okay. That's a 5 again. So I guess that would make that a 4.
And that was the DC was 4.
Oh!
I think
Attaboy,
at
let's
most,
go.
I think
Way
at
to be
most, if somebody was looking directly at Coop, you might see his mouth sort of working like somebody who's slow, like moving their mouth while they read, moving their lips while they read. It's very subtle. So you do not speak out loud. And what did you say to Persephone?
Oh, you remember that?
Yes, it's hard to forget that sort of thing.
Well, some people remember stuff from before and some people don't.
You clearly remember things from before. And things from now. A past that isn't really your own, is it?
Maybe. Maybe not.
Let's cut the bullshit, Kenny. I'm in your brain. I'm in your mind. I can see everything you see.
I don't believe you.
I need you to tell me what is Coop's biggest... Now, I know what Coop's major fears are. I want to know a specific incident in which Coop was nearly traumatized by fear.
Sorry, getting his hand yanked off.
Oh, well, that'll do it. Fair.
In this moment, when you say, I don't believe you, something flips. Your vision shuts off. You don't see the classroom anymore. You see Jessica in front of you, grabbing you and pulling you through that door in the Stapler house.
Don't like that.
And you immediately are right back to where you pulled through the door, and Jessica just didn't have enough to pull you both all the way through, and you are now lying on the floor in that room with others around you cradling where your hand has been completely severed. This also happens to be a few minutes before Persephone tries to brutally murder you.
Yep, that was a day.
How does Coop react to being forced into this traumatic memory?
I think he's basically doing like a closing his eyes, like 1, 2, 3, wake up, 1, 2, 3, wake up, and he's trying to like jostle himself out of the situation.
That's gonna be... I think that's gonna end up being another grit check. Sorry to keep making you roll grit, but that
Coop's
seems...
gonna be so gritty.
Let's just double
So
check
much
here real
grit.
quick.
Oh,
Explosion.
explode!
Nice.
Come on.
So gritty.
Do it again. No, that's a 4,
Pretty
so that's a 10. But if it's mental, then it's a 9.
It is mental, so it would be a 9. 1 second. Alright. I'm gonna roll. This is opposed. I rolled a 5 on an opposed grit. You are able to wrestle yourself away from this vision and from Persephone's control. So much so that it's a little jarring that you're not in this memory, and you become acutely aware of the hard plastic seat that you're sitting on, the coldness of the
Can
lab
I
table.
narrate this
Yes,
real quick,
absolutely,
Jake?
Absolutely.
Coop wrestles back control, and unfortunately, one of his flaws is clumsy.
Oh God, I know
Oh.
what's gonna happen.
So I reckon that he probably like wrestles control back, is shook both figuratively and literally, and wobbles a bit in his seat, maybe even falling off.
Can I try to catch him?
I would say that you don't actually fall, because that's what the grit check was for.
Oh, okay.
The grit check was specifically to see if you were going to hurl yourself out of the chair.
Oh.
But I think we'll say that this falls into, and Rosie, you'd absolutely be aware of this. This falls into that realm of you're drifting off to sleep in class, and suddenly somebody hits a baseball at your face or throws a basketball at you, or you feel like you're about to step off a cliff, and you just go. But it's a little more pronounced, and you become very aware that Coop has just done this.
And I like behind the seat, like put my hand on the back on Coop's back, and I like grip his shirt. Like I don't want to like put my hand on his shoulder. Like I don't want to make it super obvious, but I just want him to know that like I'm here and everything's okay, and I want to like re-ground him kind of. And that's pretty much it.
Oh, Coop kind of looks around for a second, looks at Rosie, and his eyes are all big, and he just mouths at her, Persephone.
And Rosie's eyes kind of get big, and you feel kind of probably involuntarily like the grip on your shirt kind of gets tighter, and then she kind of like lets you go and like brushes your shirt flat again and taps you on the back and then kind of nods down at her book and her notebook and pencil and stuff, and it kind of suggesting we finish class and then talk about it later.
The rest of the class proceeds relatively uneventful until in the last few minutes of class, there's a sudden power outage.
Jeez, it's not
Phew.
again.
Of course, several of the kids start, woo, yeah! Start cheering. Mr. McHenry's,
in 2
all right,
days.
calm down.
Coop's voice in the darkness.
I heard someone talking about this yesterday. Somebody said that there was like a secret lab in the basement of the school.
And Rosie just laughs.
Don't
It's
believe
like,
everything
yeah,
you
but-
hear, Kenny. Believe me, if there was a secret lab in this school, I would have a vested interest in that.
And
But also,
Rosie
believe me,
would
this school does not have the budget for secret labs.
Rosie would lean to Coop and be like, "I'll bet he would have a vested interest in it. He's like a mad scientist." Ooh.
I heard that, Miss Gunnarsson. And then all of a sudden you see a flashlight flicks on under his chin. You're not wrong.
And I already like Mr. McHenry.
Oh
I'm
my
gonna
God,
put a
he's
star next to him
best.
on my schedule. I love him.
He's the fucking
Amazing.
best.
With that, we're going to cut to odds is Laz, evens is Anne / Jessica. I don't know what to call you. Do we call you Anne because we know you're Anne?
I think
It would help the rest of us if we called her Jessica, because
Yeah,
the
so
rest
we'll
of
go to
us are under the
Jessica.
impression that she
So
is.
what did I say? Just say odds was Laz or evens?
Odds.
All right, it's a 3.
Laz is odd.
So it's odd Laz. Where are we, Laz? What? I imagine we're somewhere after 4th period or after lunch period because you've had your lunchtime conversation with Rosie.
Okay. I think maybe psychology, 5th period
Nice.
with Mr. Kitesman.
Fifth
Talking about
period.
avoidant behavior today, and
Interestingly, I think Mr. Keatsman is in this class is talking about the roles of nature versus nurture. How your environment can affect how somebody develops, how they grow, just as much as the nurturing, and the different interplay between them. How, to what degree a parent cares for their child or a family unit cares for the child, what kind of love and support they give them in conjunction with nature being the surrounding environment that you're raised up in, and he gives a few case examples. Mr. Keatsman is somebody who likes to use pop cultural references. So he's probably referencing current television shows and movies and things like that in the process of this lecture. Just checking. Jessica, you are in this class too.
No shit.
Yeah, I know.
Check that out.
I know that there's multiple places where at least two of you. I think there's only ever two of you in the same class together.
Well, that just worked
I
out
think that's right.
perfectly.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's just because you guys all picked your own schedules. So, yeah, Jessica, you are in this class as well. So, are the two of you sitting together? And this is not shared tables, so this is I don't remember if we established this or not. So the way Mr. Keatsman has his room arranged is you come in the door, and as you come in, sort of on your right is the chalkboard, and in the center of the room in front of the chalkboard is Keatsman's desk. There's a large space in front of his desk where he likes to sort of pace around as he's lecturing. The classroom itself, the desks are arranged in that sort of classroom half circle, 2 rows deep. So are you sitting near each other? Are you apart from each other?
Laz would definitely be back row. Probably far side of the room.
Yeah, and I think so this was
Psychology.
yeah. I'm trying to think.
Fifth
Okay, so then Jessica would have been back from the nurses.
Oh.
Yes, we are.
Oh, that's right.
By the way, we are going to the nurse's office, just so you know.
We will be there.
So
Oh, God.
this, I'm trying to remember what happened to you.
She crushed a bitch's hand.
Yeah, and then punched through a puddle.
A
The
glass
became
puddle.
glass.
That was
Yes,
and, like,
your
cover
hand,
all up.
your hand was all lacerated. That's what it was.
Yeah,
So-
because she has a negative.
You have a physical consequence, I believe.
Yeah. I have a permanent like negative
Oh,
one. I
that's
think
what it was. Yes, you had a permanent negative one. So I would say that would mean mysteriously Jessica's hand is bandaged up.
Yeah, so no matter where you are, Laz, I don't know if they'd be sitting right next to each other, but probably close. And even if it's in a U shape, you can probably see Jessica. Her hand is like heavily, I would say both of her hands are bandaged because she was like just trying to punch through. So yeah, both of her hands are bandaged. And she's trying to like, she's wearing, I would think like a sweater, and she's trying to like pull the sleeves down over the bandages, and she's like fidgeting like nonstop.
I think Laz was paying very rapt attention to this particular conversation, which is a little out of character for him, but I think that's probably right up until he notices like the wrappings on Jessica's hands, and then he's kind of distracted, and every once in a while he kind of shoots a look her direction, trying to catch her attention and failing to do so like over and over again. And finally he's just like, hey, he like wads up a piece of paper and like throws it at her.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, Jessica, you get the idea that and I think as you look, you can also see, I would say, even maybe some blood on maybe like her like sweater.
Yeah, probably high up on the neck where you wouldn't have necessarily seen it because you're sure as hell not looking in a mirror. I feel confident
No.
saying that.
So, you can tell that Jessica was purposely trying to not get your eyes. And then as you kind of wad up the paper and throw it, she looks over and like hisses, "What?"
He like points to his own hands.
For a moment, she like looks down and you can see like the sleeve kind of slips and it's pretty extensive, the bandages, and she looks at you, Laz, and you can see not fear or like nervousness or anything. You see rage.
Oh.
As
Kind of like shrugs.
Oh my god.
she like looks to the prof and then looks back to you and just shrugs.
I want both of you to roll me a D100.
Yeah.
And then you can continue with this. I just need you both to roll me a D100, please.
Oh no.
Didn't they like separate on not so great terms also the last time they saw each other? So it's like, yeah. Remember this. Uh-oh.
Yeah, her and Laz are not each other's favorite.
Not right now, man.
Especially
They
not
are
right
feuding.
now.
They are feuding.
36.
I got a 29. Oh,
Close.
it's close.
36 and 29. Okay.
Oh.
So one, that puts both of your numbers close to each other. 36 and 29 is 65. I rolled 69.
And 29.
Whoa.
Nice.
Nice.
That's why
How many
when
times
I
have you rolled
could
69 in this Paradise game? It's
I
been
think
a
this is
lot.
the third or fourth time. You can tell I rolled a 69 too, because when I rolled my dice, I went. Sorry, I will resolve this. What's happening here? But I want you to go ahead and continue with your. If there's any more to your nonverbal exchange.
Yeah, I think Laz he opens up this piece of paper that this pad of paper that he had in front of him, and he starts kind of like writing on part of it, and then he very quickly kind of like quietly tears off this corner of paper and he folds it and he throws it at Jessica.
Yeah, Jessica like catches it and winces and then opens it up.
It says, "Why do you look like Thunderdome?" Question mark.
That's amazing. Oh god.
I think this is the point. Go ahead. Go ahead.
You know what? I think Jessica, she writes something, and she like she doesn't fold it up quite. She just kind of like tosses it at Laz. Clearly not adept at note throwing.
It totally lands on the desk next to whoever's sitting beside Laz.
Yeah.
Laz has to like reach over and grab it.
You just get
There's
a
always
dirty
like the
look from
awkward
that kid.
middle people who are like see the people passing notes and they're just like, what is
Just
happening?
like trying to look straightforward really hard, be like, we are not involved. From the teacher's side of things, those are the kids that let us know that somebody's passing notes.
What does Laz find on this?
Yeah,
note?
he'll open it and look at it.
Yeah, you see a frowny face, and it says, "I don't get that." And then there was a period. I punched through a puddle, is what she writes.
It's at this point that a wadded up piece of paper hits you in the side of the head, Laz.
looks like with a very rude expression in the direction that it came from.
At this point, you both become acutely aware that Mr. Keatsman and the entire class are looking at you. As Mr. Keatsman says, I said Mr. Eccles and Miss Smith are perfectly demonstrating an attempt at nonverbal communication. In this particular instance, Mr. Eccles was initiating nonverbal communication, but Miss Smith was not receptive to that communication. Mr. Eccles, in turn, resulted to written communication, which also does not seem to have gone well.
Dude. The menace. He's a menace.
I'm not going
Those
to...
teachers were just savage, like the ones who had
Fucking locked in.
He does say, I'm not going to embarrass either of you by asking you to read aloud what you've been exchanging on your notes to one another. Anybody who's
He eats the
interested
piece of
can see
paper.
them after class. Now, could I please have your full attention? Or do you have something you would like to teach us about nature versus nurture?
No, I don't have anything that I want to teach, but it is interesting. You know, I'm interested in hearing what you have to say, and I maybe have a question.
Okay.
What would happen if like you were raised in one kind of like environment, like as far as nurture goes, and then like all of a sudden that creature or whatever is put into a completely different kind of nurture environment, like a drastic change?
These kind of situations have actually been observed in various species of animals. Most notably in chimpanzees who have been in, may have been raised in a laboratory environment with testing happening on them, and either through radical organizations that are trying to free the animals because they don't agree with these types of testings, or because in some cases these chimpanzees survive the ordeals they've been put through, but are no longer of use to the scientists. If they're lucky, they are moved to some sort of sanctuary, which indicates a very dramatic change in the nature in which they are brought up. Vice versa, using the same chimpanzees as an example, a chimpanzee raised in the wild within its own family unit suddenly taken by poachers and brought into the lab environment. In most cases, there can be, depending on the stability of the individual, which the young taken generally don't have as well-formed cognitive abilities, we'll say. In all cases, there's a strong likelihood for post-traumatic stress disorders. A similar thing happens with soldiers in the military who are taken from the war environment of Vietnam and suddenly brought into the quiet, calm life of day-to-day life. And it takes them a while to adjust to that because it's a disruption to the nature that they were existing in. Is there a particular example you had in mind beyond those, Mr. Eccles, or does that answer your question?
He kind of thinks on it for a second, and he thinks that this kind of tracks pretty well. You know, Oak and Coop both seem to be handling the transition pretty well, and them being younger, maybe that's what, you know, the teacher's getting at, that they're more adaptable, they're less, you know, developed mentally, and maybe that's why the older kids seem to be having a little bit of a harder time adjusting to this new iteration. And he kind of thinks on it for a second. No. No, I was just thinking of a friend of mine lost his family recently, and I just want to know if he's going to be okay.
Oh.
You know.
Understandable. It sounds like your friend may have people surrounding him that care about him and solid friends to help lift him up during these times. And that's going to be important in him adjusting to this new nature in which he or she is involved in. And he gives it a beat to see if you have anything else to say, and then he will, if you don't, he's going to shift back, very deliberately shifting focus away from you, and continuing on with the lecture, but even so much so that he's physically moving away from that side of the classroom to shift over to this side. It's a subtle yet deliberate giving you space. I think you can sense that he senses there's something a little more going on there.
And he immediately then kind of shoots a look towards Jessica.
Jessica looks back, and she looks at the prof and then looks back to him. It just gives him just kind of a. I don't know if Laz would know what that look is, of just kind of thoughtful, I guess, just looking. How much longer is class? Because I think she wants to try and communicate to him that we can talk after class if there's not much time left.
Yeah, I would say at this point there's maybe 10 minutes left in class. You're not going to... You've got eyes on you now, even though we gave you a little bit of a wide berth. You're not going to have the freedom to have even note passing or nonverbal communication. So
no, she just looks at the clock. Yeah,
I think after 10 minutes the bell rings. Immediately students grab their stuff and start. There's the clatter of desks as everybody gets up and begins moving out. As you get up to leave, Laz, Mr. Keatsman just says, "Mr. Eccles, can you hang back a minute?"
Oh.
He kind of had been moving to follow Jessica, and he kind of takes another half a step or so before he kind of stops. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
He waits until everybody files out of the classroom. Jessica, do you actually leave the classroom seeing that Laz is being held back?
Well, she's gonna leave the class, but she's gonna hang around by the door.
Okay. So yeah, you kind of step outside and just off to the side. Once the last of the students move out, Mr. Keatsman reaches into his desk, pulls out a pad, and writes something down, tears it off the pad, and he just kind of holds on to it for a moment as he then looks at you, Laz. Is everything okay, Mr. Eccles?
He's got it his backpack slung over just a single shoulder, and he's kind of holding it, and he kind of plays with the strap a little bit, almost like he's adjusting it up and down on his shoulder. Yeah, everything's fine. I just, I got a lot on my mind.
Just
sorry
know,
about the note thing.
No worries, just try not to let it happen again. You and Miss Smith can have your conversations before or after class. But before you go, I just wanted you to know that if there is something that you need to talk to somebody about, I'm available if you need somebody to talk to, or Dr. Malachi in the counselor's office is available if you need somebody to talk to. There's no shame in needing to talk to a counselor or a teacher if you need help with anything. I'm not saying that you do, but something tells me you need to know that there are people there that you can talk to.
I think this is probably one of the first adults, especially here at the school, that seems to genuinely care outside of Hefe. And I think that Laz kind of hesitates for a second, and then he kind of leans over and he grabs a pen or pencil or whatever just happens to be lying on the teacher's desk. And if there's a blank piece of paper, he kind of like pauses, tip to the paper, and then kind of looks up at Mr. What was it,
Keatsman.
Keatsman.
Again. Have you ever seen this before? And he draws the cherry orchard labs symbol on the paper.
Describe what you're drawing, because this is partly a test to see what you remember of this.
It's a triangle and 3 squares. No, 3 circles, I think.
Oh, shit. Oh, no.
As I said, this is a test to see what you remember. I suddenly realized, shit, I don't know what I remember.
Yeah, I can't recall exactly. It's vague in my mind.
The only image I have
Tamiko
is the
remembers.
tattoo. I don't remember. Tamiko, what does it look like?
Triangle.
I can't hear you.
It's a triangle, but without the bottom
Shit.
part, with
The glare.
2 circles,
It's 2 circles.
because it's cherries.
Okay. I think Keatsman, I'm going to give him... Okay. On a D12, he rolled a 12, so exploded. Rolled a 17. He looks at what you drew and kind of turns it around, and he just says, I'm not familiar with this exact symbol, but this looks like... This kind of looks like a stem, and like those could be cherries, like the cherry pot plant. Isn't
Okay.
doesn't your father work there?
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. I
That
think
must
we
be-
established that your father was a VP of operations at
Yeah.
Perfect.
Sure is.
and in
Oh,
a small
yeah,
town
yeah,
like
that-
this, it's not surprising.
That's
that
why you're
Keatsman would
rich.
Know that.
That must have been where I saw it. Yeah.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with his rock star mom, who has like 8 albums.
Yeah. more than anything else, though, Laz was trying to judge his initial reaction upon looking at it.
I'm gonna say, because of the 17 that was rolled, unless you want to challenge that 17 with a grit roll, it's going to look like he genuinely just took a look at it and went, yeah, it kind of looks like this thing. If you want to try to read further into that, you can challenge that 17.
I would like to.
Okay,
Grit
what are you
is my
rolling for
D20,
grit?
so
That's your D20?
I'm gonna, yeah,
Oh, nice.
so I'm gonna give it a shot. I do have a mental consequence, though.
So you're at -2 for this.
Yeah. All right.
Do it. Believe in you.
No, only a 10 total.
Yeah, there's nothing. If he knows anything beyond this, you cannot read it in his expression. He kind of pushes the paper back to you, and then he hands you the paper that he wrote on. As other students are now starting to file in, you know that you only get 5 minutes between classes, and you've eaten up about 3 minutes of that.
I guess I should go.
The piece of paper he hands you is a all pass, and basically, so it's a pass that you can show to your next class, excusing you for being late.
He kind of hurries towards the door. Thanks.
He just kind of nods and turns to the students coming in, and as you head out the door, Jessica is waiting for you right outside the door.
Jess, what the fuck is going on? What do you got blood on you?
Yeah, like something really weird happened when I went outside. You know, when the power went out.
Yeah?
Well, I got stuck. And I had to like get out. And she
What?
looks down like at her hands.
Like, can't you just like go through shit?
Yeah, no, she's like, maybe it's like this iteration. She shrugs and she's like looking down at her hands again.
Yeah, okay. But like, you're all right.
Yeah. I'm like fine.
All right. Well, like, sorry about this morning.
Hmm.
She nods. I'm sorry. Too.
Yeah, it's all right.
She's
we all
like,
got a lot going on.
yeah, I should not have. I'm just freaked out. And I should not have been angry at you or whatever.
So, truce?
She nods.
All right, we gotta get to class. They're gonna chew on our asses.
You guys are going very different directions. Jess, you're going... you guys are both coming from the second floor where psychology is. Jess, you need to get all the way down to the basement because you have phys ed.
Oh shit.
And you're going to the first floor, Laz, to the back of the east wing where the art studio is. And this serves as an excellent transition point because on your way to art class with Mrs. Neebly, you pass by, we sort of follow you with the camera a little bit and kind of shift a little bit. I'm going to say as you go down the hall, there's a point where the camera stops moving and you walk away from camera and into the art studio. And the camera slowly turns and we see school nurse Hatchet. And we're going to push through and go backwards in time just a little bit to where we see Jessica with bloodied hands, and Meredith Haas is already sitting there clutching some ice, an ice pack to her damaged hand. Jessica, when you walk in, you see Nurse Hatchet. Nurse Hatchet is very tall. She wears her hair in a tight bun. She always wears high heels, walking very stiffly wherever she goes. She is... she has a severe look about her. Her face... She's looks like she's anywhere between 30 and 50. It's hard to tell. She has a smooth face, calculated, skin that's almost like it's like carefully applied makeup without being too much, but it's like makeup that's almost deliberately trying to downplay features. But in stark contrast, her lips and her fingernails are both painted in a sort of an odd red-orange, like the tip of a soldering iron. It's like a color that looks like it's so hot or cold that if she were to touch someone with it, you wouldn't be able to tell whether you were being touched by extreme heat or cold. As you come into the nurse's office, she turns to you. She gives a glance and just says, "Have a seat." And then she does a double take as she looks back at you and says to Meredith, "Hold the ice here and do not move it." Turns over to you immediately. "Over here. Place your arms here. Stop bleeding all over my floor." She very quickly and with precision starts opening cabinets. There's never a moment where Nurse Hatchet doesn't know where something is. She knows this place so well that as she opens the door to reach in and grab the peroxide, she's already opening a drawer to grab something else, closing this, and it's just this quick symphony of movement to where she has everything she needs. And she sits opposite you at this table and sort of aggressively pulls your arms forward. Not painfully, but giving you a quick look and realizing at the elbow is probably the furthest away from the damage. And she just firmly pulls you forward as she does not warn you and immediately begins dabbing peroxide into open cuts.
Ah! Ow! Stop! As she
How old are
tries
you?
to
How old are you?
Oh my god.
16?
Then you are old enough to not whine like a baby.
You
And
see, Jessica just immediately shrink, just not a baby.
Is it even worth the effort to ask you how this happened?
Oh.
Jessica looks right at Nurse Hatchet, and there's some glass outside. I fell.
You fell on some glass outside.
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure you didn't fall through some glass? Is there a broken window somewhere? As she be continuing to pour peroxide into these longer lacerations on your arms. Hold still. She glances over to Meredith. Is there any chance that the two of your injuries are related to one another?
If Nurse Hatchet is looking away from Jessica, Jessica is staring at Meredith unblinking.
I think this is going to be a grit versus grit roll.
Nice.
I want to see.
Does Meredith have a stat block?
Everybody has a stat block. I'm just
God
trying to see.
damn.
I have notable NPCs here. I wrote Meredith Hostone. I don't remember what she was. If we had established, I don't think I had the random student generator at that time, but I think we established that Meredith was sort of high on the in the plastics click.
Mm-hmm.
So I will be rolling with that stat block. So grit versus grit.
Okay, I exploded twice.
Oh, wow. What were
I
you
wish I
rolling?
could show my screen. It is
What are you rolling?
D8s.
D8s. Okay.
Ooh, damn. Jessica is a terror, dude.
I exploded.
So I rolled an 18.
So I exploded.
I think we're working on a bully here, dude.
That is a total of 6. When you look from behind Nurse Hatchet, the look you give to Meredith
Oh my god.
forces her to, for a split second, you see absolute fear across her face. Any sense of bravado that she tried to show at the beginning of your confrontation outside is completely gone. And she immediately averts her gaze as Nurse Hatchet looks at her, and very quickly Nurse Hatchet looks back at you. I would like roll me a flight real quick. You're not running away,
Flight.
but this is sort of a speed related thing, so I'm gonna roll.
Okay.
Here we got
7.
whatever expression you had, you managed to replace it with one of complacency. By the time Nurse Hatchet turns her head around, she does not see you giving a stink eye to Meredith. She continues, or she rather finishes up cleaning these wounds and begins to bandage them up. She takes the time to actually individually bandage the worst of the cuts. Put some kind of a like bacitracin or something like that on there.
Wow.
I'm trying to think of, I don't know if that was around back then. Neosporin, probably. I don't know.
Neosporin.
It's a foul smelling
Iodine.
ointment. And then she wraps your hands in gauze. It's like self-adhesive, and she just says, "You'll want your mother or father to help you, or a brother or sister or somebody to help you change these dressings before you go to bed. They should be fine to remove the bandages by tomorrow. You don't need stitches. I would advise you to find somebody on the maintenance staff and let them know where this broken glass is so that they can clean it up and so that nobody else falls into it. Now, you are done here, so you may leave." And she gets up and disposes of the used products and waste stuff, and quickly puts away some things. And you see as she turns to Meredith and says, at least 3 of your fingers are broken. You're going to need to go to the emergency room. This is beyond my ability to take care of you here. You said that you got into some kind of an altercation. No. It was my way of saying that I got into a fight with the staircase. I fell down the stairs and tried to break my fall. My hand got caught in the railing, and that's when I felt my fingers break. And she gives one just furtive glance at you. Fortunately, Nurse Hatchet immediately, like just a split second before Meredith looked at you, was already turning to you and say, "I said you can go. There is no reason for you to be here. You have a class to be in, I'm sure."
I can imagine Jessica was like leaving, and like her hand is on the door, and as the nurse was asking about an altercation, Jessica stops. And you just see like this like,
Oh my god.
unmoving like stillness in Jessica as she's unmoving, hand on the door handle, listening to what Meredith says. And as the nurse then dismisses her a second time, you see Jessica move, open the door, and as it shuts, I imagine the camera centers in on the door handle, and there's marks, like indents of where Jessica had been gripping the handle.
Absolutely. I'm trying to remember what the timing was when this, because we jumped around a lot. I don't remember what time of day it was.
It was after
was
period
right-
2.
It was after
Or
second
during period
period.
2. Yeah.
Time's irrelevant here.
Yeah. Weirdly,
means
time is
nothing.
both irrelevant and extremely relevant, depending on who you are.
Went about the day, had lunch, saw a Laz in psychology, and then went to PE.
So I think at this point, I guess it's up to, we'll jump over to Rosie. Where are you? What do you want to do? Is there anything you specifically wanted to address in the rest of this day? After American Lit, you do get your tape player back.
Nice. Fuck yeah. Okay. So, let's see. American Lit for Rosie is 4th period. I guess Rosie would flag down Jimmy on the way out of American Lit.
What does flagging
and
Jimmy down look like or sound
just
like?
kind of like as she is leaving class, she sits closer to the door than he does. So like as she's leaving class, she would wait for him to come out, and I think she would probably just physically grab him like as he comes out. She'd be like, "Yup," and just kind of yoink him like by the sleeve,
And
probably.
he kind of turns around, looks at where
Hey.
you've grabbed him, and then kind of looks
Hey.
up at you, and immediately does that sort of a kind of tosses his head to push that lock of hair back.
Hot. Amazing.
Oh, hey.
Hot. Great.
Hey, Rosie.
Hey,
What's
hey.
up?
So Jimmy,
Yes,
wow.
Rosie.
And despite herself, Rosie's stomach like flips a little bit when he does that, and she just kind of says like, "Hey, listen, keep this on the down low for a little bit. I just didn't want you to hear it from anybody else, in case, you know, I know around here rumors kind of start to just like kind of wild. So, do you know Laz Eccles? He's a year older than us. Yeah, he's the rock star's son. He's
Oh,
you know,
yeah, Lazarus.
the human shadow. You know, he's always in all black and skateboard
Human
and all.
shadow.
Yeah, him. So he and I kind of suddenly are maybe a thing, and I want you to know that I'm going to the dance with you. I said I was going to the dance with you, and I'm gonna go to the dance with you, Jimmy, because I said I would. But I just didn't want you to hear it from somebody else that Laz, well, he kissed me or something. And so I just want you to
Man, Gunnarsson, you move fast.
no. It just I mean, it was it was fast.
It's the second day of school.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess I
No,
didn't.
hey, I'm just busting your balls. It's I know you hung out with that last kid over the summer.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
only see each other during baseball and stuff.
Okay. So you're not mad?
No, maybe a little disappointed.
And Rosie kind of like just shrugs, and she's like, "So you'll still go to the dance with me and everything? It's nothing."
I don't know. It sounds like your dance card's all full up.
Listen, hey, and Rosie would like kind of punch him in the shoulder, and she'd be like, "You don't want to go with Claire, do you?"
He actually looks around to make sure like Claire isn't anywhere around you to hear.
And
that.
Rosie doesn't give a shit if she is.
And he goes, "No, I'm just busting your balls.
Okay, so
We can
you and
go
I
to
go
the
to
dance
the
as
dance
friends."
and we keep this up, okay?
But you and that Azarus kid, the Rockstars kid, huh?
Yes. Oh my God. We're gonna have to talk about it sometime soon. But it was. Oh my God. It was.
Wait,
Jimmy, it was something else.
wait a second. How the hell are you even here? Didn't you get hit by a truck yesterday?
Yeah, it was a whole thing. A lot of weird stuff. Anyway, I gotta get to class. I'm so glad you're not pissed off. We gotta talk. We gotta talk soon. And Rosie would just down the hallway fast.
And Jimmy just kind of stands over for a second. He's like, I swear to God, she got run over yesterday. And all of a sudden he gets bumped as Dallas Rogers kind of walks past him and goes, I said I was sorry.
Dallas is just like, hey.
It's like, I already told her I'm sorry. We're cool. And he just kind of
Cool.
down the hall. You are on your way to woodshop.
Yay.
But you're not going to make it to woodshop.
Why?
Because on your way to woodshop, Miss Adams finds you.
A truck comes down the
Oh.
hallway.
You didn't look both ways before crossing the hall.
Dallas didn't mean to, but the truck did, and the truck wants revenge.
Dude, speaking
Carrie.
of
Have you ever
Stephen
seen
King,
Christine?
It's Christine, bitch.
Christine, that's what it is.
Oh.
That's also time period relevant.
There you go.
Now I'm
Miss
mad
Adams
that I
finds
didn't
me.
have you get run over by that kind of a car.
Just through the hallways.
No, Miss Adams, you actually hear as you're heading down the hall towards your class, you hear that sound of heels of somebody that's kind of running in heels, but they're not used to running.
So this is either my mother or Miss Adams or
you
Nurse
know it's
Patchett.
not your mother. Your mother would never run in heels
Oh,
and never make this. This is that sort of almost like somebody whose pencil skirt is just a little too tight, so they can't have full range of motion. So it's like,
yes, exactly.
and that is not your mother at all. But it's Miss Adams. Rosie.
Oh, yeah. Hi, Miss Adams. What's up?
I thought you would already be at your woodshop class.
Yeah, I had to have a talk with Bretsky. Why?
You need to come to the office. Your mother would like to see you.
Okay. Does she like have something for me, or did I forget something at home?
I am just the messenger.
Oh, okay.
And she
Yeah,
turns
okay.
and starts walking away from you towards the office, and then stops and says, I'm to escort you to the office.
And Rosie kind of like chuckles and she like hustles a little to catch up, and she's like, "Does she think I'm gonna like try to escape or something?"
Again, just the messenger.
Okay.
As you
And
start,
Rosie kind of like puts her hands up and be like, "I'll come cooperatively."
before you get to the office, we're going to jump over to Coop.
Nice.
How's the rest of Coop's day going?
Well, Coop can't find the mute button because Coop's cat's all up in the way. Ugh. Welp, I don't know. What period are we in? Does it matter? Are we skipping around?
We're sort of settling into the latter part of the day. I think we're starting to move into somewhere around 5th or 6th period.
What have I got?
Oh
man,
you got band with LaJoy.
I have band, and it wouldn't be Bucky drills because I had Bucky drills yesterday.
Yep.
Actually, have
Or you can go into 6th period art with Laz.
Yeah, let's do that. That's more fun.
Okay.
Here, real quick, band class. Honk honk.
hot cross buns. Hot cross buns.
You see, I think in the band class, you see, it would just be one of those quick scenes of, in fact, it's almost like in the Simpsons opener when everybody's playing and then it focuses on Lisa, who's playing really well, except it's the opposite of that. It's Coop with a clarinet making the most god-awful sound, and Mr. LaJoy going like this.
like wincing
Very-
physically.
Very good.
Oh,
Kenny,
he's used to it. He teaches children, for God's sakes.
He's just
There's
iron
something-
staring at you. It's like, you are improving.
He teaches children, but you are in a class all your own.
That's true.
And then
That's
we'll cut to art class. Now, in the art class, I don't remember if we established it previously, but regardless, the way this class is arranged, it's a very large studio space, tall ceilings. On this side of the room is the tables are arranged like large squares, and there's place for 4 people at a table, one on each side. The class has a lot more depth to it. There's actually kilns and pottery equipment on the far side of the room where the lights are dimmed right now. And there's a second part behind, between the pottery section and this part, where it looks like it's set up for some kind of like model drawing or something like that, where easels are arranged around a central position, where currently there's just a plinth with still life, fruit, cornucopia, all that good stuff. Are the two of you sitting together at a table?
Yeah. Laz doesn't have a choice.
Laz wouldn't mind.
I think, just to set the scene before you start any conversations, Mrs. Neebly has walked around the room and has handed out on each table. In fact, when you came in, there was already a stack of newsprint, very large newsprint, like, I don't know, 12 by 18 newsprint sheets. And there are, each table has a small box with some like black charcoal sticks. There's also a box with a variety of colors of chalk. There are different hardnesses of pencils. There's colored pencils. There's, I can't think of the word right now, but they're a little bit higher end markers that are used for fine art.
Optic?
Yes, thank you.
How does school afford optic fucking markers?
And she has explained at the beginning of class she would like each of you to take a piece of newsprint and choose your medium and your subject. This is a free art period, but she does want you to turn in your art at the end of class period. So you have the full 50 minutes of class, I think it is, 2:30 to 3:25. 55 minutes of class to create art or have conversations. Or both.
Can't we do both? I was just gonna say.
Or both.
Why not both?
Both is good.
What do you do?
So, so Coop just sits down and he starts cutting the newsprint into like little strips. He doesn't know what the hell he's going to do with them yet, but that's what he's starting with. And while he's cutting, he's like, he turns to Laz and goes, "Oh, Laz, are you going to draw something?"
No, I don't think I'm gonna draw anything today. I've been practicing like this thing that I found out about called origami. So I think I'm gonna do that.
Origami?
Yeah, origami or origami. I don't know how you say it.
Oregano?
But no, that's definitely not it.
No.
It's like you fold paper into like shapes and stuff, like little animals or...
Like when you make the note into a football?
Yeah, kind of, sort of, like that.
Oh.
I'll show you.
Okay, cool.
You can follow along with me if you want.
Sure, I'll do that. So Coop's gonna try to follow along with what Laz is doing, and when he makes his little paper creases and tries to do like the bends in, it's just like contorting itself because Coop cannot do this, but he's trying. And while they're attempting to fold, Coop says, "So, Laz, I'm just wondering about something. Can I ask you about something?
Yeah, sure.
So, on a scale of 1 to 10, how mad would you say you are at Templeton right now?
I mean, the fact that like he didn't tell us that he was also Algernon, that kind of sucks. I'm pretty pissed.
But like he didn't know. Jake, time, flag on the play. Jake, do we know that? Like, Algernon told us that, right?
I don't remember if Algernon told you, but I know that Persephone told you when you first met her that Algernon knew that he was sharing that he was the other half of Templeton.
It was
Templeton
Persephone.
knew about Algernon, but did not know that they were the same person.
Okay, so we are aware of that. Okay, then he probably wouldn't have said that.
Game on. Car.
Car. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's hard to be really pissed at him because I guess it's not his fault, you know. But I just don't know if I can trust him.
I don't know. It seems like he's having a really hard time right now because.
Wait, you've seen him?
Yeah, he came to my house last night and he had pizza with James and me.
He's okay?
Yeah, well, he's okay now, I guess, but like, what is it? He didn't forget. He remembers everything, but he doesn't have new memories. And he's been at the school and he was so skinny.
At school?
Yeah,
Why the
he's
hell
been
was
at
he
the
here?
school. I don't know. He was confused. He thought he was at the lab, but there were too many kids.
Wish you had called me, Coop.
Well, I mean, it's only been a day. This literally just happened
Feels
last
like forever.
It's the damnedest thing. It feels like it's been like multiple weeks.
I like to go back a couple
Once.
episodes to It's Been a Hell of a First Day.
Oh,
Mm.
and that reminds me, I never got a chance to thank you for saving me from her.
Oh, he's visibly kind of uneasy. Yeah, I don't, I can't really take credit for it, you know. I didn't really think about it. I fucking killed somebody, Coop.
You didn't, though. You did, but you didn't. She's back and she remembers.
Wait. Templeton's back and he remembers everything, so nothing's changed for him. But she's not dead?
I don't think so. She's talked to me yesterday briefly and today.
You saw her too?
Well, I didn't see her. They just pop in.
Oh. Right. Yeah. Fuck.
Oh, and that was the weirdest thing. I was trying to explain to Templeton about what happened in the house, and Templeton saw it. Like, he was able to see it in my head, everything that happened.
Like, kind of like a VHS, like a replay. A rerun?
Yeah. I think so. His little whiskers fell and he just said, "That was terrible." I think I'm paraphrasing.
Listen, like, there was a lot going on last night whenever we tried to get together, and we haven't really had a chance to sit down and talk. And I think if you could swing it with your parents, like, maybe we could all come over to your place later after school and we can talk with Templeton and each other and try to figure out what the hell is going on, what we're gonna do.
Coop, I need you to make a quick grit check while you continue your conversation.
Jake, wouldn't you prefer if I made a charm check with my D20?
He's so charming.
That might be in other situations, yes, but this is very specifically a grit check. And
Unfortunately.
do you currently have a mental?
Yes, I do. I have a -1 with my D6.
That,
Here we go.
yep, and that is going to be in play.
That's a 3.
Amazing.
When you from the moment that you told Laz about Persephone and how she remembers, you are starting to, at the peripheral of your vision, it's starting to get a little dark. And as you are talking to Laz, you feel an anger rising in you. You're kind of, for some reason, you're not sure why, you're kind of getting pissed off at Laz.
Like
And this kind of comes to it right as Laz suggests getting together at your house.
Yeah. It's like, if your parents are cool, maybe we should all like try to get together, you know?
Well, I don't know about that if you're not sure how you feel about Templeton.
Well, I mean, like I said, you know, I'm kind of pissed just because I don't know. I don't know if pissed is the right word, you know? I just don't know if I can trust him. But you seem to, you think you can trust him?
Of course I trust Templeton. I trust Templeton so much. He's innocent. He doesn't know what's going on. How can you blame him?
Make another grit check.
I mean, like,
Again.
I'm not really blaming
Come
him.
on, Coop doesn't like being an asshole. It's a 5.
This is Coop's villain era.
4.
Finding a
Sorry.
villain right now.
-1.
Oak
Jesus.
and Coop
I rolled
and Jessica.
I rolled a 12, which exploded. So I got a 16 to your 4.
Jesus wept. Come on.
How is it that, you know how when you just suddenly get super pissed at somebody and you can't contain it anymore? What does that look
Oh,
like?
I know exactly what's going to happen.
What does that look like? Because that
Coop.
happens right now.
Coop just starts crying. He just starts ugly crying because that's what Tamika would do. Like, when I get pissed,
Really
I will
pissed.
start to cry. That's when you know things are bad.
Laz looks around like really uncertain of what's just transpired and what happened. Coop, you okay?
Coop looks at Laz, feeling really betrayed, and he doesn't understand why, and he just runs out of the classroom.
As you get up to run, you do successfully get up and run. I'm not going to make you do any kinds of checks. But in your
Thanks.
anger, you shove your chair backwards. It slams against a partially open cupboard door. Your guys' table is sort of near the backside of this classroom, and there's these like 6-foot tall cupboards, and on top of them are just tons of different art supplies and things like that. And as your chair slams back into this cupboard door, it was partially ajar. It causes the door to slam shut. There was a box that was on top of that was supported by the partially open door. In this box, there are a variety of T-squares, French curves, drafting type tools that, because it's the 80s, they're metal. As this falls, it falls.
What the hell kind of Rube Goldberg shit is this, man? Like, that's what I was looking for.
It falls.
What kind of tomfuckery
So,
Rube Goldberg
as you're
nonsense is
watching
this?
Coop exit the classroom in tears, completely baffled, Laz, this Rube Goldberg thing happens in an instant. Slam, smash, and all of a sudden you are hit in the back, like at the base of the neck, by a heavy box, and you feel as all of these things start spilling out of the box, dumping all over the table, making a racket. Does everybody know what a French curve is?
No.
Jake,
Do you
what
have
the
one?
fuck, man?
While Jake is getting clearly a French curve, check
This
us out on
is the French curve.
teespring.com. I'm just kidding.
This looks like a battle. I just realized this looks like a
Looks like
Star Trek
Klingon
weapon.
It's a
fucking-
Klingon weapon, yeah.
Yes.
Really good. Like, the bat lift casually lands
Yeah.
on your freaking neck,
this.
lad.
Wow, how
This
cool.
thing is
Jesus
is
Christ.
sharp right at the
I
point
was
here.
gonna say, if a burglar
And-
ever breaks in.
You get hit pretty hard in the back, but it's a cardboard box and it sort of crumples, knocks you forward a little bit. But it's one of these that comes down, point down, and drives right through the back of your hand into the table.
Come on.
This, I will say, for visual effects, and this is an audience-only realization,
Shut up, Em. Shut the
that
Em looks so smug. They're like,
Damn it.
I'm not the only one who's named somebody now.
Damn it. I told you, it just happens. I don't even
Hashtag hand
premeditate it.
stuff.
More hand stuff. Oh, I feel called out.
Can't live down the allegations, Jake.
Rightly so, I feel called. I'm
Okay.
just gonna make a T-shirt that just says
Repeated behavior.
a T-shirt that
Repeated
says
behavior.
#hand stuff. We'll put a severed hand on there for some reason. For the audience's sake, as Coop gets up and this whole thing transpires, and as this metal thing goes into the back of your hand, Laz, for just a moment, there's a spectral ghostly image of Persephone
Oh.
That
with her
bitch.
hand on the door, like she actually pushed it closed,
Oh.
and it's almost like she doesn't grab this metal thing, but it's almost like she's using like the force or magic. The audience sees the spectral form as these things are spilling over you, go, and then so this was not just a random happenstance. There's a
job.
supernatural aspect to what just happened to you. So we return to the scene. Laz, how are you reacting? I will tell you, one of the classmates nearest you suddenly goes, "What the fuck?" Which gets Mrs. Neebly's attention.
Mhm.
Language.
What are you doing,
I
Laz, as
think-
you've been stabbed in the back of the hand?
I think there is like a complete like buffer of time where this has happened and he's just kind of staring at it in disbelief, not saying or doing anything at first. Like, so this kid is the first one to make any kind of noise or reaction about it. And then he kind of kind of like raises his other hand,
Can I go
kind
to
of
the
stuck
bathroom?
where he is.
Mrs. Neebly comes over and says, she's kind of still looking at where Coop suddenly took off running, but this noise distracted, and she comes over and I don't know what kind of horseplay you're engaging in, but you're
Get
gonna
your
have
fucking
to.
sword out of my
Jesus!
hand.
As she sees your hand and just goes, Jesus. And she walks over and she's like going like she wants to grab it, but doesn't want to grab it. And
I can't move and it fucking hurts. Get it out of there. Get it out of there.
Hold on a second. And she comes around to the other side of you and she says, can you look over there in the corner and tell me how many apples are on that still life?
What? He
Apples.
kind of like looks that
As
direction.
soon as you turn, she pulls it out of your hand.
he fucking screams.
Jesus crumps. God, no.
And you almost just out of instinct, your hand, you just immediately are cradling that hand.
PSA, that's exactly what I would have done, and exactly what you're not supposed to do.
Oh,
What,
yeah.
to
no.
pull it out.
You just
Yeah.
have to leave
Oh,
it
yeah,
in until you can
absolutely.
get to the hospital.
As you are
80s were a
standing there.
weird
She
time.
just looks right at you and says, why are you still standing here? School nurse, now.
Yeah.
Go.
He
And then she
out the
starts
door.
telling other kids to get back to their seats. She tells the kid that yelled "what the fuck" to start picking up the mess. As you head out the door, Laz, are you going to the nurse's station? Do you look at your hand? What do you do?
I mean,
Was it his
went through
dominant
his
hand or his offhand?
Oh, that's a good question.
I'm gonna say it went through your right hand. It's up to you if you're right or left-handed.
Yeah, right-handed. Okay.
Oh,
Um.
Doghammer just asked it. Is it his guitar hand?
Yeah, absolutely. Like his strumming hand, not his fret hand, but still. So, I mean, it went through his hand.
It
like,
was
not
sticking
just
in the
into
table.
the back. Right.
Yeah, it went through.
So he's absolutely going to head to the nurse's office.
Do you look at your hand at all as you are heading there?
Yeah.
I
He
need
kind
to
of like holds it up, like as he's walking down the hallway and he's passing the series of like fluorescent lighting. He's just kind of like looking to see if he can see through the hole.
Oh,
Cool.
you don't have far to go because I totally forgot. We established that the nurse's station is literally outside here. As you step out into the hallway and you're midway between the art studio and the nurse's office, you hold your hand up. One, you 100% can see through.
It.
And two,
Ick.
there is a translucent bluish green fluid instead of blood that is leaking out of your hand.
Oh,
I'm sorry,
no.
what?
Oh, squeeze me?
Baking
Is it
powder?
similar in color to what fills the back to tanks?
Nope.
Clone fluid?
Oh,
Clone blood?
The back to tanks are filled with a luminescent green fluid.
okay.
This is the closest thing I can think to describe it is it's like a
Hurt Plus?
it's like it's not it's more blue than green. It's think bioluminescence without the luminescence,
Cool.
if that makes sense.
Okay.
Crest?
Like blue glow in the dark shit.
It doesn't
Crest
Like
gel?
it doesn't seem
like
to
the
be
opera singer
glowing,
from
but
Fifth
it's
Element.
again.
Like the opera singer from the Fifth Element.
Yeah. That's a
Whenever
good.
he
Like a
opens up her
Twi'lek.
abdomen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. He's like, what the fuck? He like smells it.
It strangely has an odor that there is a sweetness to the smell in the same way that transmission fluid has a little bit of like clean transmission fluid has a little bit of a sweetness to it, but it also has I guess I would describe it as an ozone smell, so that you would associate with electricity. And since you pulled your hand up close to your face to kind of take a sniff, looking back at close up at this wound, you see where the edges, where the jagged edge of the skin is, where this thing is punctured it. The very edges of the skin are actually a very fine mesh that looks like it's been torn.
Oh.
And you can actually see the very smallest ever wires that you've seen. Like, we're talking the size of hairs that have been severed as well. And
You're
very
an android,
tiny
Harry.
little
Cool.
bzz, bzz,
Oh.
tiny arcs of electricity.
Well,
Kind of stares at it, dumbfounded for like a long while. So, not the
Oh.
fucking nurse then.
No.
I think
Closes his hand up to his chest.
I think as you say, not the fucking nurse, then that's where we're gonna switch to a new scene.
Wow. Oh my god. You
holy shit!
gotta go to the auto shop.
My-
They'll fix you right up.
Before we go to the next scene, I just have to say,
Wow.
One of my favorite things is when I can completely surprise all of you.
Bro.
It's not often because you guys are very smart and you guys tend to put together pieces of the puzzle
Aw, thanks.
before we have
Gold
a
star.
revelation. But every once in a while,
Did you read the notes?
yeah.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I can surprise you guys with something. So
This one is out of the blue. Damn.
Yeah,
Yeah,
literally.
you got me.
Or the blue out on me.
Yeah,
Ah!
right. You stop it, you. Wow.
You blew yourself.
think
Oh.
Jesus Christ, Samiko.
I
I'm
would
so
like
proud of you.
to.
Emo.
I would like to go to. Well, I think at this point we've touched on everybody's scenes. The three remaining of you, somebody jump in. We can follow Coop crying out in the hallway with anger. Find out where Jessica / Anne is. See where Rosie is. Who wants to jump in?
You could do phys ed with Rosie.
Oh yeah, that's Rosie and.
Does Rosie make it to phys ed at the end of the 6th period? Did she have a debilitating talk with her mom?
Oh, that's right. I do. Yeah, that's right. Let's resolve that real quick.
Okay.
Miss Adams.
But I would love to do phys ed.
Miss Adams leads you into the office and points at the principal's office, which is the door is closed, and just says, "She's expecting you. You can go in."
Okay. When I do, Rosie she grabs the knob and then she's like takes like a big breath. And then as soon as she goes in, she's like, "Mom, before you say anything, I'm really sorry that I swore in American lit today. I was listening to music and I shouldn't have been listening to music, but it got really loud really quickly and it surprised me. And I said, I said, Jesus Christ."
As you're sort of saying this on the way in, your first thing you see when you see your mother is that she is standing with her back to the door, and it sort of, she has her desk set up so it faces the door. She's got a couch and a couple chairs. She got the typical couple chairs that are facing the desk where parents might come in. There's a couch off to one side. There's a chair, some shelves with some books, a chair and a lamp. You know that if she can find the time, she does like to do some reading in her office. And in this corner of the office, she has a mirror. And she's currently standing in front of the mirror, and she's just adjusting. Today she's chosen to pull her hair back into a tight bun, and she's wearing a black blazer and pantsuit.
Oh.
From behind, you see what looks like Ashley Raven.
And despite everything, Rosie is still really, really trying to just adapt to this new world. And when she sees this, she kind of and I said, Jesus Christ, I'm really sorry.
Well, and she turns around, and as soon as she turns around, you see the soft features and caring look of your mother. She's not even wearing that stern look of the principal. She still looks like Ashley Raven because they look alike, but
yeah,
she, I guess the jostled memory sort of fades as she turns.
Hits. Yeah.
And she says, "Well, I do appreciate your willingness to divulge all of that. That's not why I called you to the office."
Sorry.
And she crosses the room to you and puts her arms around you and pulls you into a hug.
Okay. Rosie, for just a second, she still just can't shake the Ashley Raven look. And she, as soon as the woman is coming at her, she kind of shies away just a little bit. But then as she hugs her, Rosie kind of puts her book bag down and she gives her a hug.
She holds
What's
on
up?
a little extra long.
What's up? Is everything okay?
She finally lets you go and kind of steps back with her hands on your shoulders. She kind of reaches up and pushes some loose hair out of your face, and
Mom. I got
she-
wood shop. Like, what's wrong?
she just, after a moment, she just moves her hands off your shoulders and sort of puts a hand on either side on your face, and she just goes, how are you doing today, coming back? It's almost the end of the school day, and after what happened yesterday, how do you feel?
I mean, I feel fine. Like, surprisingly, like, nobody has mentioned it today except Dallas. Dallas is like obsessed with like making it right. I told him it was fine and it was just an accident, but yeah, people just kind of, it's almost like they didn't notice, I guess, which is good. I don't want a lot of bells and whistles, you know?
Well, you've told me how everybody's reacting or not reacting to you, but I asked, how are you doing? How do you feel? Do you hurt anywhere? Or do you feel any sort of, I don't know, anger or sadness or anything at what happened? Are you okay?
Mom, no, like, no anger or sadness or rage or, no, I'm fine. I'm fine. The doctor said I was fine. And I feel fine, so I guess I'm fine.
You'll tell me if you're not fine, won't you?
Yeah, sure. Or I'll tell Dr. Malachi or Dr. Malachi or you or Dad or Cal or one of my many friends, or I mean,
Okay.
I
I wanted to try to get to see you earlier today, but it's been a busy day, and I just wanted to make sure you're all right. And go easy on Dallas. He feels really guilty, and it's going to take a little bit of time for him to get over that.
believe me, I'm going as easy on Dallas as I possibly can, and he's still beating himself up, so I'll hold pattern. Be honest, I'm thinking about the basketball game tonight more than anything else, and I'm nervous, and like I said, I'm sorry I swore in American Lit.
Well, language.
Yes, man, I know.
And
I'm still getting into school mode from summer mode. It's a transitional period.
okay, well, and you see as she reaches over to the wall near the mirror, there's sort of a skinny cupboard door that serves as a little bit of a coat closet, and she reaches in there and she pulls out her purse and kind of slings it over her shoulder and says, I actually have to leave a little bit early to take care of a couple errands, but I will. I'm sorry, this is the DM asking. You said basketball game tonight?
Yes,
Okay.
Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Yeah. She says, of course I'm going to be at your game tonight. Don't worry about that. She opens up her purse and starts fishing around for her keys. I would like you to make me a brains check, please.
Oh boy. Here we go. Brains. That's a 7.
Okay. As she's fishing around in her purse, and she grabs her keys, your mom is the kind of person that, as principal, she has a few extra keys.
Oh.
But she also keeps she's not somebody who likes to have a whole bunch of like keychains or anything like that.
Oh.
So it's actually a pretty modest keychain, but as she's pulling it out, it kind of catches on something else, and for just a moment you see as what looks like a lanyard with an ID badge on it starts to come out of her purse, and as the keys disconnect, it drops in. But before it drops in, you see the logo with the 2 red cherries and a barcode. And then she quickly gives you a kiss on the forehead and says, all right, well, you got to get to class, finish out your day, don't miss any more class, and language, I'll see you tonight at the game. And she heads out the door.
Okay. Can I have a piece of gum real quick out of your desk, please?
Yes, then get to class. And
Okay,
then
I'll be quick about it. Can I write myself a late pass?
Miss Adams will take care of that. And then you hear her talking quietly to Miss Adams for a moment, and then Miss Adams says, all right, good night, Miss Gunnarsson.
I want to rifle through her desk real quick to see if there's any other clues, please.
Okay.
Lass is so proud.
Thank you. Oh my god. Oh my god.
I would like... I'm trying to think of how to do this.
Snoop like the wind.
I am snooping so fast.
You're moving hastily.
Yes.
I'm not sure.
I have a social penalty, not a physical penalty.
Right.
I'm very dexterous.
There's not a clear indication of what a stat you would use for, like... You know what?
Flight.
I was gonna say,
no. Flight is wrong. No, not flight. Not flight at all. That would be dumb.
What dice is what dice is your flight?
I'll give you 3 guesses, man.
D4?
Yes, of course.
So I'm actually gonna do a combo here.
Oh.
Because you've got a piece of evidence that you saw or think you saw that's causing you to do this. So you definitely have... You're not blindly searching. You're looking for something specific, or in a specific... You have an idea what you're looking for, at least. But also, you're trying to do it very quick. And yes, what are your ranks again?
Tank and rank, and I don't remember what rank does.
Rank is you excel in competitions.
Yeah.
That's not gonna do anything.
No, and tank is just you're big or
one of the
physically
nice,
imposing.
Nope,
so
that's thanks. You're big, either physically imposing or strong. Nope. We're gonna do a combo here. I want you to combine your brains with your flight.
So like I roll both and then add them?
You're going to roll
Okay.
both. If either of them explodes, roll explosions as usual, and then add the totals.
Okay. Okay. Neither exploded, but I do get a +1 on flight because I'm a teen, and so that is a total of 10.
All right. I need...
10 feels very good and even.
So I'm going to do a dice roll, so there's a level
You
of...
could take a couple pops.
I was just gonna say, could I have those 2 pops up there, please? Just to give me a 12. 12 is such a great number. It's divisible by 3 and 4 and 6. And...
All right, so you're at 12 now. Need to fix the dice real quick. 40.
While Jake is doing the dice, check us out on teespring.com. You can check out this cool shirt from Paradise Bluffs. You can check out the one Jeremy is wearing. You can check out the one Tamiko is wearing, and so many more. You can get them on coffee mugs, tank tops, t-shirts, long-sleeved or short-sleeved, hoodies, and so much more. Teespring.com. Just search Mini Terrain Domain.
Technically, in the 80s, you're not supposed to wear the shirt of the band that you're going to see, but it's okay. Here we are.
Here we are. Here we are.
Oh,
It's merging. We're merging worlds.
we need a Lazarus freaking shirt. That
We
band shirt,
need
Jake.
The band shirt.
I'm working on
with
it.
a tour guide on the back, like a tour list.
I'm already working on it. I've just got sidetracked with some other stuff. That's 100%
That's
what
fine.
I'm working on a Lazarus band shirt, and one of the
Tour
things
schedule?
I'm working on is that the tour dates and locations might have some Easter eggs in them.
Oh.
So
Which album are you choosing?
I don't know yet.
Okay.
God. My God. Well, several. They're obviously going to play like a 3-hour show. It's going
I'm
to be like
also-
the Eras tour.
I will say this, and this is the last thing I'll say on it. You, as Lazarus, would know that the band has been going to the studio a lot. They are working on a new album.
A new album.
Because it's been a year since they released Ghosts. And within that year, most recently was when Weird Al released his parody
Weird
album.
Al
Goats.
got it. Yeah.
Yeah. Once you
Goat.
get Weird Al, you have to make another
Yeah.
album.
You've made it big. That's
Gotta
right.
follow it up.
So
100%. 12.
I
was my total.
rolled. So I wanted there to be a level of. I didn't want it to be arbitrary.
Levels of success.
So now just one more roll on this, and then we'll resolve. Roll me a d100.
Okay. Here I go. That is a 56.
Okay.
Right in the meat of the curve.
So you figure you probably have 2 minutes tops to rifle through this desk. Because Miss Adams would have heard you ask for gum, and she's not going to raise any questions for the moment. You tell me where you're looking and how you're looking quickly but thoroughly in this desk.
So before Rosie does anything, the first drawer she opens is the drawer where the gum is. Because she thinks maybe, number one, she's going to grab gum to avoid suspicion. And she's going to, maybe she'll get lucky. Maybe something is going to be in that drawer. And if nothing is, she would look
It's
in the
juicy
middle
fruit.
drawer. Obviously it is. And then she would do that and kind of maybe dig. If I don't know that her mother would keep a messy desk. I feel like it would be pretty organized. And so if she doesn't immediately see anything
So,
in the gum drawer, she would look
Before you go
elsewhere.
on,
Yeah.
one, you are accurate in that Jerry Gunnarsson does not keep a messy desk. When you open up the center drawer where the gum is, there are pens and pencils, erasers, any of that kind of stuff. One of those whiteout, bottles at this point.
There's no
I don't know
tape
if they had the
in the
dispensers
80s.
yet. But everything is very neat in this desk. She has one of those, almost like what you would put in a toolbox. It's like a non-slip rubber pad, so that when you open the desk, stuff doesn't slide all over the place. And everything is perpendicular or parallel to one another. So the gum
Damn.
is parallel to a stamp pad. Next to that is the stamp, a date stamp, one of those you can adjust the date. Everything is neat.
Yes.
You open up another drawer, same thing. There's neatly organized papers. She's got a couple drawers on either side of the desk. Every one you open is neat until you get to the second from the bottom drawer on the left. And when you open it, there's a hodgepodge of stuff sitting in the drawer. There's a couple loose sheets of steno paper. There's a pencil that's been sharpened much smaller. There's a miniature size stapler. There's a novelty eraser. There's a matchbox car. There's 3 rubber bands. Everything is arranged, or rather isn't arranged. That's the first thing that stands out. This is just, looks like these things were thrown into the drawer. But with that roll, compared to what I rolled, it looks like somebody who's trying to present a mess, but that goes anathema to how they are. So it looks like arranged chaos. You start to see there's a pattern to the way the things are laid out. Somebody is trying to make this drawer look like it's just a messy drawer because they're trying to distract from something. And that's when you realize, wait, the bottom of this drawer
moves.
It
moves.
It's too close to the top of the drawer for how thick the drawer is.
I would definitely check that shit out. I would be moving. I would be trying to work my fingers down so I can pull if there's a false bottom.
You absolutely cannot get your fingers in on the edges, but you start, as you're kind of trying to manipulate that, you realize all of these carefully arranged objects are adhered or fastened to the drawer.
Like a solid chunk of junk.
And you can literally just grab like the matchbox card, the stapler or
Pull it.
something, and you feel
Wow.
that thing begin to lift.
Okay. So
And you lift
I do.
this up, and we see that sort of view from the desk as you just kind of lift this up and your eyes get wide. And in the drawer, we will find out next week as we are going to end our session here.
No! It's like that shot of Shelley Duvall in The Shining when she's looking down at all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. It's
Damn
like,
it!
We gotta have some kind of a
You just see
cliffhanger.
Rosie's face with like a glow.
yeah, or
Black.
like, yeah.
I resisted having a glow, a luminescent glow, but
Yeah. Oh,
you find a
no.
severed hand.
God damn it. All I want to do is go to fucking PE. I want day 2 of dodgeball. Shit!
I was hoping to get to a little bit of
I'm so sorry, everybody.
PE, but no, it was fair.
Ah, yeah,
you-
my
you
hand's still
spotted
missing.
You spotted a mysterious
still
It's in the
badge
drawer.
in Mom's purse that made you want to look for other stuff. So, which from a thinking of it purely on an audience side, I think it's an interesting dynamic because of all of you, Rosie seems to be the one who is most deliberately trying to forget the previous iteration.
That is fair.
And to
Oh,
suddenly have a callback to that makes you go, oh snap, I need to see what else I can find.
Jake,
Which-
can I have an epilogue moment? Very fast.
Sure.
Love
Out
a
in the
good
hallway
post-credit
somewhere.
scene.
Out in the hallway somewhere, Coop's wiping tears away from his eyes with his little fist. And he opens up his blazer, his uniform blazer, and he pets Templeton's head inside the inside
Oh.
pocket.
Oh,
And he says-
he's in there.
You're no
I
longer
really
angry
fucked
either.
things up, Templeton.
Oh,
That's so
that's
funny.
perfect.
I think too, as you're doing that, it's a low dolly shot. The camera is super low and just slowly backing away as Coop is quietly sniffling and sobbing while petting Templeton, and the camera just fades to black.
Incredible.
It's funny that you did that
Shit.
because at one point,
So good, dude.
depending on how you guys took the art room scene, one of the possibilities was I was going to have Templeton pop out having hitchhiked in your backpack or something.
minds.
So the fact that you brought Templeton with you is even better.
Wow.
And
Wow. Oh.
I'm not even going to
Oh, man.
pretend it's not a thing, but it was purely random that I had it pierce your hand. I did not deliberately set out to do hand
Uh-huh.
stuff, which makes it all the
Wink,
weirder.
You got Skywalkered, man.
Dude.
I am
We're gonna need
absolutely
to see that roll table.
between the
Yeah.
the roll tables. It's 0 to 100 or 1 to 100, and it all just says hand stuff, hand stuff, hand stuff, hand stuff.
I covered all of my bullet points.
Did
By
you?
the way, bring Templeton to school. Billy rumor about Mrs. Nielsen. Bio with
Nailed it.
Rosie during the power outage.
Did do you have hand stuff added to the bingo card?
I was gonna say, do you have that?
It's
Like,
getting
needs
on
to
there.
be.
It needs to be.
I think
It needs to be.
I'm gonna figure out how I'm gonna do it, but there's definitely gonna be a hashtag hand stuff T-shirt.
Dude. We gotta
Probably
find
with
a
some
way to
kind of a hand on
tastefully-
there.
Yeah, it should be like
Tastefully.
hashtag
don't know.
hand stuff asterisk in smaller print. No, not that.
Because I've
Yeah.
purchased all of the MTD t-shirts, I think, at this point, and I can't
Yeah.
be walking around with a t-shirt that just says hand stuff on it. I'm a pillar of my community.
I was gonna say, you should just go for it. Just shamelessly.
I mean-
you know what?
Guess what, bitches?
what?
This is who I am now.
Hashtag and stuff.
Oh man, no, this was good.
Damn. Wow, mysteries afoot. Another cliffhanger, bud.
I am eventually going to put together that spreadsheet. Various things that are known. Who actually knows them?
You say spreadsheet, but what you're really saying is conspiracy board.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna say we need some red yarn.
You
for
don't
this.
need Excel. You need a corkboard and
You need
some
to go to
red yarn.
Michael's. Legit.
I
You just need to go to Oak's house.
I did
Right.
not
right?
I did not have bullet points, but I did have a couple things that I had hoped to insert into the session that made it. So I'm happy about that.
Like a French curve, Jacob.
Yeah, like a
You know-
French curve.
So I'll tell
Do you guys know what a French curve is?
because keep in mind, I did not know what class you guys or who was going to go to what class. I didn't know that you were going to go into art class.
You
Perfect.
suggested art class.
No,
No.
he didn't.
It was
I don't think he did.
I did say that it was one of the options, but what I'm saying is that whole scene was not premeditated. That was improvised
It was-
on the spot. But
It was
beautiful.
perfect.
but the
Absolutely
French curve was
perfect.
because I knew that I had a French curve, and I knew what Mrs. Neeb's, my teacher, Mrs. Neeb, who Neebly's based on, I knew what her art studio looked like, and she had these cupboards with all kinds of shit piled on top. It just made sense because of the way that whole thing turned out that it would play out that way. And then yeah, I could have stabbed you in the shoulder, I could have stabbed you in the arm, I could have stabbed you in the leg, but no, I went for the
But
hand.
this is MTD, and we
This is
believe
the channel
in
of
hashtag
hand
hand stuff.
That's right.
Oh, you could have rolled on the body parts table.
Very on brand.
Yep.
It is
So-
all just hands.
I was just gonna say it's
Left
hand
hand,
over and
It
right
could
over.
hand,
be head.
top of the hand, bottom
have
of the hand. It's just
Fingers.
that.
I have
Fingers.
I have one of these
Parts.
dice that it's a D12 that has all different body parts. Got left arm, right arm, left leg, torso, head, all that different stuff.
I'm aware.
I need to custom order some dice that just says hand stuff on every face
hand.
of it. And then
Just to mix it up, there's
Yeah.
one that says left hand.
left hand, right hand.
Left hand, right hand.
all
left
right.
hand, right hand.
Holy
Well-
shit, y'all. Based on everything that happened that was so grim, I can't believe I laughed so hard this episode.
Dude, this was a delight. This was a freaking delight. What a treat.
Something that I forgot
Absolutely.
to mention at the top of the hour, and Ted has more information on this, but I had told Ted that he could make an announcement. I'm going to pull the information up real quick. Ted is, once again, for those of you that don't know, Ted participates every year in D&D in a castle. It is an event where you can pay a not insignificant amount of money to go to various European locations and actually play D&D with professional DMs in a castle.
And they have events and shit too, right?
Oh yeah,
like
there's
dinners
there's
and,
like
and
fancy
balls.
ballroom stuff,
There's
and
balls.
it's
I think
it's
one
amazing.
of them is here stateside,
So
and I think that might be the one he's doing.
yes, so for
Okay.
for this summer, in August 18th to the 22nd, Ted is one of 4 featured DMs. I'm not going to try to pronounce this. Well, I guess I could. Alcuin Gersh, Eliza Pearl, Hardcore Mode, and Ted Adams at the Mohican Castle, USA.
Badass.
Of all places, I don't think anybody, unless you know what the Mohican Castle is, would guess that you can play Dungeons and Dragons in a castle in the United States, in Ohio.
In Ohio.
Sure.
I say
Ohio.
that. I say that as a
Cleveland
Michigander.
rocks.
Oh man, I'm not going to post that link. Hold on, link gore. I told Ted I would post the link, and it was just this massive link gore. I'm going. I don't know how to make it better.
Other than
How
apologize.
about this? How about this? We'll figure it out, get a proper link, and post it in the Discord.
It's already there
Yay.
in the chat.
Oh, well, that's not that bad.
Nice. You
Well,
did
the
it.
first one was a Facebook, so it had all the Facebook crap on it.
Oh.
Anyway,
Oh yeah.
the reason I posted this link is you can sign up for this and reserve your spot to go to Mohican Castle in Ohio in the United States and have a chance to play with Ted and some other DMs. So check it out.
awesome.
It's got to be
Awesome.
cheaper than flying to the UK to stay in one of those castles.
Right.
And yeah, with that, thank you to everybody that tuned in tonight. As always, we appreciate having everybody in the audience. I love seeing the chat going, even though I can't always read it and keep up with it. Appreciate the support through bits and subscriptions that keep these Paradise kids flush with domain pops. And support the channel. If you are somebody that likes to lurk quietly in the chat, know that we do have a lurk command. It doesn't do anything. It says that you slip quietly into the shadows. Lets us know that you're lurking. But even so, if you just quietly lurk in the shadows, or maybe you're watching on VOD later, know that we appreciate you and we hope you enjoy streams. Let us know in the comments on YouTube what you think. Tell us what your favorite parts of the episode was. Tell us what your favorite hand stuff is. I don't know.
Maybe
Let me
don't do
rephrase that. Don't
Maybe
tell us what your
not.
favorite hand stuff is. I meant, nope, I rescind that.
Nope.
I'm sorry I said that.
Tell us what kind of event dates Lazarus has coming up on the back of the t-shirt.
With that, I want to say, as always, a huge thank you to these amazing players who I'm also lucky to call my friends. I love playing this game with you every week. So a huge thank you, as always, to Miko, M, Carrie, Jeremy, and though they weren't with us, they were with us in spirit, Chad and Ted, without whom this would just be me talking to myself for a couple hours. With that, we're going to go ahead and end this stream the same way you end every stream, and you can say it with me if you want.